The longer the X-Men have gone on, one villain has gravitated from the extreme antagonist to one of their closest allies. Magneto is one of the most sympathetic villains ever created, and I submit to you that in fact, in the history of the X-Men, he never really was.
I am Magneto, master of Magnet.
This week we explore the origins, history, and powers of the mutant master of magnetism, Magneto. Greetings, X-Chickens, and welcome to Die. I'm Dan Unthan, master of Doomcast.
I kill you, X-Chicken.
Magneto showed up for the very first time in Uncanny X-Men #1 in 1963, and while he appeared in a number of X-Men issues early on, he was often, very often, the opposition to the Avengers. His powers are Omega level, meaning that as a mutant, his specific power of magnetism registers or reaches an undefinable upper limit. Basically, the limit of his control of magnetism isn't even fully definable. And that's nuts because that goes well beyond taking apart guns or throwing nails and shit. The entire universe is magnetic. It's a fundamental force of physics and reality. He flies with magnetic fields. At full power, he could make you pass out just by pushing the iron in your blood to your feet. Forget crunching buses like tin cans, he could turn your body into goo by destabilizing the magnetic field of any atoms inside of your bones. He could reverse the polarity of Earth's magnetic fields if he wanted to. He's blacked out electronics globally. He could drop satellites or asteroids on the planet. At full power, Magneto is, as a guy prone to violence, scary as fuck. Magneto's revolutionary approach to mutant rights didn't quite get explained until about 20 years later by Chris Claremont, who intentionally modeled Magneto after Malcolm X to Xavier's Dr. King. Up till then, Magneto wanted humans dead and behaved like a terrorist along with his Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Real on-the-nose branding, by the way. Aside from needing a better publicist, he also needed an origin. So Claremont revealed that he was a Jewish man named Max Eisenhardt, who survived the Holocaust with his wife, Magda. Later, he was attacked in an anti-mutant pogrom, which killed his first child. After relocating to Israel, the man who called himself Eric Lenscher met Charles Xavier, a young man committed to civil activism for human-mutant coexistence. But he hadn't suffered like Eric. Magneto realized from his experience in Auschwitz that you can't have a dialogue with bigots. You don't ask for respect. Drop an asteroid on those motherfuckers. The two fell out. Time after time, Magneto tried to establish a mutant homeland. Asteroid M, San Marco, Avalon, Genosha, and then House of M, which wasn't actually real, and then Utopia, which didn't really work out either. And sure, he got abducted by an alien, put in a coma, had his mind wiped, died, got cloned, died again, was a guy named Zorn for a while, but not really, but he kept trying to create a mutant state. What did Charles do? Kept trying to work within the system and accomplished dick. Yeah, sure, as a neoliberal committed to peace, he, let's see here, founded a school that turns teenagers into a paramilitary force. And now, after all this time, Xavier and Magneto help establish Krakoa, the final homeland for all mutants, strong-arming global governments into recognizing them and making themselves immortal, hijacking business and global politics to force human beings to not only recognize mutants as a state, but also become completely dependent on them. And it's worked. In retrospect, Malcolm X's By Any Means Necessary wasn't too far out there. Maybe Huey P. Newton's establishment of a self-defense force was practical for survival. The FBI smeared and discredited both of those men through COINTELPRO, and history has absolved both of them. While the real-world struggle for equality continues in comics, it would seem that Magneto was right all along. While extremist, while revolutionary, while opposed sometimes to the guy who turned kids into cool child soldiers, yes, Magneto was right, and pretty neato. Thanks everyone for watching. This has been the Doomcast. We'll see you next week.